Chào mừng các bạn đến với kênh học tiếng Anh của chúng tôi. Chúng tôi tạo ra các video dễ hiểu, thú vị và hiệu quả, giúp bạn cải thiện khả năng giao tiếp, từ vựng và ngữ pháp một cách nhanh chóng. Dù bạn là người mới bắt đầu hay đã có nền tảng tiếng Anh, chúng tôi đều có những bài học phù hợp. Đừng quên nhấn đăng ký để luôn cập nhật những kiến thức bổ ích, từ các bài học về ngữ pháp, cách sử dụng từ vựng trong giao tiếp đến các tình huống thực tế trong cuộc sống hàng ngày. Bắt đầu thôi!
Study. She studies every night to prepare for her exams. Study. She studies every night to prepare for her exams. Learn. They are learning to swim in the swimming pool. Learn. They are learning to swim in the swimming pool. Teach. The professor teaches chemistry at the university. Teach. The professor teaches chemistry at the university. Read. I read a novel every weekend. Read. I read a novel every weekend. Write. She writes essays as part of her homework. Write. She writes essays as part of her homework. Answer. Please answer the questions on the test carefully. Answer. Please answer the questions on the test carefully. Ask. Feel free to ask questions if you don't understand. Ask. Feel free to ask questions if you don't understand. Explain. The teacher explains the new topic in detail. Explain. The teacher explains the new topic in detail. Discuss. They discuss their ideas in a group project. Discuss. They discuss their ideas in a group project. Listen. It's important to listen carefully in class. Listen. It's important to listen carefully in class. Practice. He practices speaking English every day. Practice. He practices speaking English every day. Understand. She finally understands the math concept. Understand. She finally understands the math concept. Review. The students review their notes before the test. Review. The students review their notes before the test. Memorize. She memorizes new vocabulary words. Memorize. She memorizes new vocabulary words. Summarize. They summarize the chapter at the end of class. Summarize. They summarize the chapter at the end of class. Solve. He solves complex math problems quickly. Solve. He solves complex math problems quickly. Analyze. We analyze the data collected from the experiment. Analyze. We analyze the data collected from the experiment. Research. They researched the effects of pollution for their paper. Research. They researched the effects of pollution for their paper. Draw. She draws diagrams to help explain the concept. Draw. She draws diagrams to help explain the concept. Calculate. He calculates the total cost of materials. Calculate. He calculates the total cost of materials. Experiment. They experiment with different solutions in science class. Experiment. They experiment with different solutions in science class. Observe. The students observe the behavior of insects in the lab. Observe. The students observe the behavior of insects in the lab. Record. She records her findings in a notebook. Record. She records her findings in a notebook. Check. Please check your work before submitting it. Check. Please check your work before submitting it. Correct. The teacher corrects the students' assignments. Correct. The teacher corrects the students' assignments. Complete. He completes his assignments before the deadline. Complete. He completes his assignments before the deadline. Participate. All students are encouraged to participate in discussions. Participate. All students are encouraged to participate in discussions. Present. She presents her project to the class. Present. She presents her project to the class. Organize. They organize their notes for easy review. Organize. They organize their notes for easy review. Classify. The biologist classifies the species by characteristics. Classify. The biologist classifies the species by characteristics. Describe. He describes the plot of the story in his report. Describe. He describes the plot of the story in his report. Predict. The scientist predicts the results of the experiment. Predict. The scientist predicts the results of the experiment. Measure. We measure the length of the object with a ruler. Measure. We measure the length of the object with a ruler. Revise. She revises her essay before submitting it. Revise. She revises her essay before submitting it. Note. The students note important details during the lecture. Note. The students note important details during the lecture. Type. He types his report on the computer. Type. He types his report on the computer. Outline. They outline the main points of the article. Outline. They outline the main points of the article. Identify. She identifies the key themes in the book. Identify. She identifies the key themes in the book. Debate. The students debate on environmental issues. Debate. The students debate on environmental issues. Compare. They compare the advantages of two methods. Compare. They compare the advantages of two methods. Contrast. He contrasts the ideas in the two texts. Contrast. He contrasts the ideas in the two texts. Interpret. She interprets the poem in her own words. Interpret. She interprets the poem in her own words. Report. They report their findings to the class. Report. They report their findings to the class. Recite. He recites the poem from memory. Recite. He recites the poem from memory. Recall. She recalls important facts during the test. Recall. She recalls important facts during the test. Select. The teacher selects a topic for the class to discuss. Select. The teacher selects a topic for the class to discuss.
Video đến đây đã kết thúc. Chúc cả nhà mình một ngày làm việc và học tập thật năng suất. Các bạn cho kênh xin một like, một đăng ký kênh để kênh có thêm động lực làm thêm nhiều video nhé.